tipped so far. All's well that ends well. I see he is recovered, I said to Mom. More or less. Then Tootsie toddled over and held her arms out to me. Uppy, up! I picked her up. She was barefooted and the bottoms of her feet were covered with blue. Did you get more blueberries? I asked Mom. No. Why? Look at Tootsie's feet. Uh-oh, Mom said. We ran to the side yard where Mr. Fargo had left his work. Mom sucked in her breath when she saw the path of little footprints across his painting. What are we going to do? I asked. What can we do? Mom said. Mr. Fargo and Jimmy came around the house then. Jimmy was telling him about his sailing adventure. I was never scared, he said. I knew it was a keelboat. I knew it couldn't go over. He stopped when he saw us and gave me a weak smile. Peter wasn't scared either, he added. Mr. Fargo wasn't listening anymore. He'd seen the footprints across his painting. His face turned purple. I held Tootsie tight and waited for the explosion. Frank, Mom began, but Mr. Fargo held up his hand to stop her from speaking. He got down on all fours and crawled around his canvas. He stood up and walked away from it. Then he came closer. Then he walked away. Then he came closer again. He squinted. He scratched his beard. We held our breaths. Finally, he muttered, Baby feet. I looked at Jimmy. He shrugged as if to say, Don't ask me. Baby feet, Mr. Fargo said again, coming toward me. I backed away. He wasn't getting his hands on my little sister. Itsy bitsy baby feet, Mr. Fargo cooed. Itsy bitsy teensy weensy baby feet. He tickled the bottom of Tootsie's feet. She squealed. Then he laughed. Mr. Fargo actually laughed. How'd you like to be my partner, Tootsie Pie? She held her arms out to him. He swung her up in the air. I think we've got something here. I think those little baby feet of yours are going to be a big hit. None of us knew what he was talking about, but we were all relieved. That night after supper, Jimmy and I used up a whole jar of Noxema. We had sunburned faces, necks, and ears. Our ears hurt more than anything. Why didn't you use suntan lotion? Mom asked. I never burn, Jimmy said. Famous last words, Grandma said. Dad, who'd had supper in his room, came down in his robe. He clinked a spoon against a glass and said, I'd like your attention for a minute. Everyone looked at him. I behaved very badly this afternoon, he said, and I want to apologize to everyone on the boat, but especially to Muriel, who saved the day. Apology accepted, Grandma said. I was proud of Dad for admitting he had acted like a sore loser. So when he looked over at me, I gave him the high sign and he smiled. Then Mr. Fargo clinked a spoon against his glass. He stood up and said, I want to thank Tootsie for walking across my canvas and giving me the idea for a series of paintings called Baby Feet. Hear, hear, Buzzy Sr. said, raising his coffee cup. Let's have a toast to Baby Feet and to Muriel, who always saves the day. He gave Grandma a big kiss. Grandma blushed. Buzzy, she said, not in front of the children. Somehow, I don't think Grandma was talking about us when she said children. I think she meant Mom and Dad and Mr. and Mrs. Tubman, because they were the only ones who looked surprised by that kiss.